And good morning from sunny Missouri. We are well underway on our 100-day, 10,000-mile, 27-state epic adventure. And, waking up to that. Blue skies, the St. Louis Arch right there. What an amazing structure. Beautiful park. We spent the afternoon and early evening there yesterday. We took the elevator all the way to the top. Got some great pictures which we'll upload from the top up there. Really cool museum as well. So when we were leaving Cape Girardeau yesterday, it was raining. The weather had kind of caught up with us, and we thought, what a great opportunity to hunker down and get organized. And that's a good thing to be able to recognize. Sometimes we fall in love with where we've got things placed, how we're doing things, and we realize all of a sudden maybe that's not the best way to do it. So we took the time to kind of analyze and look at where we have things placed. What are we doing? What are we finding ourselves, having been living together now for a couple of days? We're kind of getting into a routine, and we know kind of the pattern of how things are going. So how can we do this more efficiently? So we sat down, and the first thing we started was reorganizing the pantries, where we have our clothes, where we have all of our gizmos and gadgets, so that it makes more sense. What we thought made sense when we started, after you're doing it for a couple of days, you realize, wait a minute, that doesn't need to be there, it needs to be over here. For example, we had the kids' snacks in the pantry. Makes perfect sense. You got your bread in the pantry, you got staples in the pantry, put the kids' snacks in the pantry. No, because sometimes when they open the pantry door, things fall because they've shifted, and it's a pain for them. So we said, wait a minute, let's take the overhead bin over the couch, and let's take the stuff that's there, put it over there, and put all of your snacks in there. And that way it's easy for you to access, you can see what you've got. And that's another thing that we try to stress is use it. And if it starts getting limited, let us know, because there's nothing worse when you got a hankering or a need for something, and you go to where it's supposed to be, and you realize, oh man, I used all of it. So that's one of the things that we're also kind of emphasizing for all of us to remember. If it starts getting low, make a note of it, write it down so we don't get caught short-handed. The other thing that we did was we said, all right, girls, what can you do? You see what we're doing every day. You see how we're putting things together. You see how we set up the camp. What can y'all do to help? I call it capitalizing on slave labor. Well, Claire's not going to go that route. So she says, no, we have to call this crew development. So we're doing crew development. So Vanessa said, hey, you know what? Why don't we sit down, the three girls, and we'll come up with a list of things that we can do that we feel comfortable and know that we can do a good job at. We'll write them down, we'll assign them amongst ourselves, and we'll take that as a starting point. And I thought that's a really good idea. It gives them buy-in because they're creating the list, helps us out because we can make suggestions about what might want to be on that list, and then they can delegate the tasks among themselves, and they can kind of self-policing a little bit. So I wanted to show you, they actually came up with this list, and they post it on the refrigerator, or actually underneath the clock that's on the side wall next to the refrigerator. And it's a daily checklist of things that we do, both as when we're setting up a camp, when we're breaking down a camp, or while we're just here. Who's going to take out the trash, who's going to straighten off the table, who's going to clear it and help Sita and I with the dishes. And it's all written down, and we'll modify this and adjust it as we need to. The other thing that we did is we know how important it is to start your day and to start your day right. So we went out and got a pretty good devotional book that's for their age group, and it's a pretty good swing in ages, so we had to try something that was kind of in the middle, and we found a really good devotional by Tim Tebow, and we're working through that. It's something to think about, some scriptures to read, and we just think it's important. We established this routine with their parents when we were living in Tallahassee. We would get up in the morning, and before we had breakfast and started school, we all sat in the living room, did a Bible study, did some prayer, and it was just a really positive way to get the day going, because the way you start your day, the way you start your week sets the tone for that day or for that week. So we thought this was really important. Anyway, we will continue uploading photographs as we continue this epic adventure.